This is Robert Willis at Debateless, and we have a special broadcast. I am here with Daniel Moore, who is in Ireland, and he's going to be filling us in on what's been going on. So if you could introduce yourself and how you got involved in following what's going on. I mean, I'm sure you can't probably avoid it in Ireland at this point, but if you could just give some background on your involvement with what you're seeing as well.
Well, I've been now I'm quite young, I'm 19. But I was kind of disillusioned with the way the government is, and like our priorities and all that for a long time, because it's very um it's very present in our curriculum in our schools.
Okay.
It's very obvious, they push a lot of crazy stuff. So I left school when I was like 15, and I went straight to college. I just skipped the other 3 years
Mm.
of secondary school because it was just, it was too much. So I kind of started meeting people and kind of figuring out how I could change things. I
Hmm.
know it sounds a bit corny, but
No,
um,
that's great. I mean, especially it's great that you identified there was basically what indoctrination in the school system that you
oh yeah,
identified. Yeah.
it was bad. Like there were like we supposedly went to a Catholic school, right? Like that's what they
Yeah.
called it. But they had all the gay pride events and
Oh
all
wow.
of
At a
that
Catholic
stuff.
school.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
That
ridiculous.
they're mandated by law to do it. Did you know that?
You have a runaway government. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
we see things. There's a lot of problems in the U.S., but I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like it's 10 times worse in these European countries. It's just insanity. With, I mean, even being flooded by third worlders, we
Oh yeah.
have we have illegal immigration problems, and a lot of the legal people coming from these third world countries are on fraudulent visas. It's fake degrees. Basically, they find ways to manipulate the system to come into our country, and they commit fraud. They rip us off. They take our tax dollars and they make it not safe. I mean,
Yep.
out here we're having people killed all the time as well, and
Marina
it's
Zarutska.
yeah.
Who else? There's loads of names
Oh yeah,
that
it
I've
just doesn't
heard.
end.
Yeah. Now I don't think he was an illegal, but the guy killed Austin Metcalf. He just got
Oh
sentenced,
yep,
right? Yeah.
yep. He just got sentenced for
Good
murder.
news. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good news, but it's very interesting. I've seen a really big change in the U.S. when it comes to racial relations, especially. They've gotten worse and worse, especially now that we're seeing as whites becoming a minority in this
Yeah.
country, which is historically a white Christian nation. Even into the 90s, 3/4 of the population was white Christians, identified as Christian. Now, as these other groups uh, gain more and more people, and we are becoming a minority, and are already, I would say, in many of our cities, we're a super minority
Oh
already,
yeah. Especially
overwhelmingly.
the inner
So,
cities. They're
oh,
they're quite
exactly.
bad.
I mean, I saw somebody. They actually had a political kind of sit-down session, and there was a lot of people talking about New York City, and they were all, I'd say, brown, black people. There were no white people, and they were complaining about white people. And one of the people raised his hand. He said, "Listen, I live in New York City. I've moved here a few months ago. I don't see a single white person on the streets. Like, how are you complaining about people that don't exist? It's like a boogeyman.
They all
So,
left when Mamdani got elected. they
oh yeah, yeah. I
they
mean,
all
even
left. They
beforehand,
went to
yeah, more
yeah.
people have people. A lot of people with money have been leaving because they don't want a socialist because he's just going to take their stuff anyway. So,
Yeah.
um,
That's
but
it.
yeah, it's been happening for a few years that I've seen in the U.S. and it's really accelerated to like crazy, crazy levels. What I hear, and I think other Americans hear coming out of Europe, especially the UK, is basically people getting jailed for social media posts.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I mean, we have people that come across our border illegally, and we try to basically stop it. I mean, ICE is a big thing right now in the U.S. where they're going after illegals and getting them deported. But
Wish
I
we had
feel like,
ice.
Yeah, I don't see that happening in Europe. And the thing is, I feel like there's a lot bigger problems with what's happening in the UK because when I look at the UK and I hear about the rape gangs and there's been 250,000 girls raped, it's like in the past, I think like 15, 20 years, it's the sheer
It's a lot
number is
more, by the
insane.
way.
Oh,
Yeah,
I would imagine it's almost the same thing. I think that's shared where the bad statistics they try to hide them as much as possible.
oh yeah,
It's like a global phenomenon. So getting to Ireland, I I put out a broadcast actually tonight, and I love what the people are doing in Northern Ireland because it's like they're finally kind of showing, hey, this is what we don't accept this. I think it's a little late, I would say.
yeah. Like 20 years
But
late. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But I when you have so many people coming into the country, flooding the country, replacing the native population. I mean, I believe Irish to the Irish, right? Like, why are
yeah,
there third worlders coming in, actively committing violence, murder, and rapes of people as is already a great replacement going on across like basically the Western world,
oh yeah.
and I've been saying lately like this was I've been dealing with politics for a long time. I never really got into the racial aspects of things, but now you have to because it's the reality of what we're dealing
You
with.
have no choice.
Exactly. So I really like that you reached out after I think you saw my broadcast on covering what's
Yeah,
been
yeah, I did.
happening in Belfast, and I definitely am interested on what we're not hearing, what's going on the ground, and what kind of reactions have you been hearing from anybody about what politicians are even going to do to react to this? Because, I mean, I just feel like the people need to go, and if the government's not doing it, they're forcing the population to deal with this. They're forcing people to burn uh, cop cars, buses, go after the government housing the migrants are living in, which the Irish are basically paying for, by the way, with their
Yeah,
own
we
money.
are.
So you are literally paying for your own invasion, and it's supported by your government, which is insane.
Yeah.
So if you could tell me, I guess more of that. Some of this stuff is, um, I would say my statements are from what I've seen on the internet, but you're the first person in Ireland I'm talking to right now. A lot of it's been through news and assumptions made from those news, and you can only trust so many news sources, right? So
Yeah.
I just really want to hear it from the ground, from an Irishman, on what's happening. So,
Well, it's a good idea to talk to someone here because the Irish news is actually owned by the state. Like
okay.
they it's a state broadcaster, so everything that they say is, goes through the government first. Now there are a lot of different reports. The fog of war when something like this happens.
Hmm.
Um, first the reports were saying he was Somalian. I think the Gardaí said that, the police, and then they changed their mind and they said no, he's actually from Sudan, and
Mm-hmm.
they're changing their mind all the time. And then the reports saying that the man who was stabbed was 15, but that wasn't true. I think he's in his 40s.
Mm-hmm.
He has some sort of disability or special needs or something, and he was actually helping this guy, and another foreigner. Um, he was helping both of them move into their house.
Oh wow.
So he got nearly decapitated for his troubles.
Yeah.
Apparently his eyes are gouged out as well, but I don't know if that's true.
Okay. I heard that as well. I heard that he's was blinded. He had his something. I guess his eyes were attacked, maybe gouged out, like you said, and he was trying to cut off his head. I read as well.
Yeah, he was working on it there. He didn't get it all the way off though.
Oh wow, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
this is and they just these foreigners who probably, in my opinion, don't belong anywhere near Ireland or
Oh yeah,
Europe
no, not at all.
tried to kill somebody that went out of their way to help them, which it just seems like it's a reflection almost of the government. They're trying to put all these third worlders first to help them while making it extremely dangerous and destroying the countries of the native people. It's ridiculous.
We offer them our hand, and then they cut it off and beat us to death with it. You know, there's no
Yeah,
like there's only so much compassion we can give before
yeah,
we have to send them all home. Now, I used to, when I was really really young, and I used to think that you know um the government would never lie and all this. Like when I was a little child, I used to think,
yeah,
oh well, it's great they're bringing in people because they're just the same as us and we can help them and all this. They're not.
yeah.
you know, like I don't. Well, I do understand. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But
Hmm.
I don't understand why, like, how the government would think it's a good idea to bring people in with, like, who have a religion that says kill everyone else except
Yeah,
for like the Muslims, like uh, kill all the
definitely.
Christians and the Jews and everyone else.
They're not compatible with your society, and they're
Yeah,
being pushed in, and they're transforming your society because what else do they expect to happen?
they're in our government and everything.
It's insane. There's a lot of parallels happening as well across the pond over here, and
Yeah,
it's
Minnesota is
yeah.
basically an
Uh,
Islamic state. Like it's crazy what's going on
it's
over there.
bad. And it's not even just the Muslims out here. We have a lot of problems with Indians as well.
Oh yeah, we
Um,
have we have bad problems with the Indians here.
oh yeah, and they're all it's fake credentials. They're stealing jobs from actual college-educated professional Americans, white-collar jobs, and they're doing it through fraud. And I myself, I mean, I was a software engineer, and I've worked in tech for a couple decades, and I saw entire teams being replaced with people that didn't know how to code, that were supposed to be engineers, software
Yeah,
engineers, and they couldn't code. So it's all fraud. So there's a lot of different ways we're being attacked, right? Our livelihoods being attacked. We're physically being attacked. Our women are being raped. Our men are being slaughtered in the streets, and the government seems to still not care about what's happening. So, and I say this: the Irish have a great reputation, by the way. The Irish people, as a strong
thank you.
people, and as also a very empathetic, kind-hearted people as well. I think
To our
they have a
detriment.
yeah they have a saying in the U.S. I heard that they have an Irish heart, which is very empathetic and very caring to people. But you
Thank
also
you.
don't cross the Irish. You don't cross them because they're also very known as a warrior people. I mean, so the Irish have a great reputation in the U.S. and honestly, a lot of people in the U.S. are have relatives that came to the U.S. from Ireland, especially in New England, Massachusetts, and a lot of our states. It's like overwhelmingly Irish
Yeah, we had the
everywhere.
mob in New York too, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
there's a lot of connection with Ireland and the U.S. and um, it's really sad for people to see places that they may not be Irish growing up in Ireland, but they feel Irish in their heart because their grandparents were from Ireland and they came to the U.S. Or they just have the Irish last name. They just love being an Irish American. And when they see what's happening to what they consider their their homeland, right, like in their heart, right, like
yeah, yeah.
it's just is there going to be left a place to visit? Some people actually wanted to retire in Ireland if they're Irish Americans. Like I've heard this, I've seen this myself. Um, is there even going to be an Ireland left? You know what I mean? For the not just the Irish now, but people of the Irish blood. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm doing this for my kids' generation and the one after that. So hopefully there will be in Ireland, but it's
Yeah,
not seeming great at the moment.
yeah.
I'll tell you how all this was kind of put into motion, if you'd like,
Oh, definitely, definitely.
a bit of a story. So in the 70s, now this is about Well, yeah, but it was about 50 years after we got our independence. So
Hmm.
in the 70s, Europe came knocking, and they asked us to join. So the way our constitution works is, we need a referendum to change it. And so a referendum was put forward to the people for joining Europe. So we voted no, right? But they
Yep.
just kept holding the vote again until we voted right.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were kind of forced into Europe, and they rewrote our constitution to basically say we can't leave. Like there's a bunch
That's
of
insane.
it's like a bee stinger where it's like barbed, so it's harder to take out than it is
Oh
to
yeah,
it's like
I
that.
understand.
So we can't get out, and they can rewrite our laws and send people in, and there's nothing we can do about it. So, well,
See,
um,
I think you were going to correct yourself and be like, there are some things we can do actually about it, but
yeah, but
we have
I'm
to
too
take over our
nice.
country. We
I'm
have
too
to take
nice.
our country back.
Yeah, well,
Um,
that's what I'm trying to do, but it's a slow process. Another thing too, Europe recently and the the establishment in Ireland have become very anti-American recently.
mhm,
Um, Actually, our president who got elected last November,
mhm.
her sister is actually like, well, her and her sister are quite closely linked to a load of different Islamic terror cells
Wow.
around the world. They have pictures with ISIS. Her sister's in contact with Hamas, like at the moment, like she's,
How did these
they're,
people get elected? I mean, it just makes no sense.
well, I'll
But I
tell you
guess you
how
could
we
say the
had.
same thing about. I guess you could say the same thing about New York, though. How do they get a socialist Muslim, right?
Well, they bring in a load of Muslims and then they vote for him.
Yeah.
Um,
There you go.
and yeah, so we had a good candidate that we were trying to get in, but they wouldn't let her on the ballot. Um, they just wouldn't let her on it because she, I don't know, maybe she
You're not
thought,
allowed to.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Crazy.
just said no. Um,
Yeah.
she was qualified. Never, she was more qualified than the lady who did get in.
Yeah.
Like she was a lawyer, she was a barrister, she did a load of different
Maybe she
things.
didn't have enough terrorist friends to get
Yeah,
on
no,
the
she didn't.
ballot.
She didn't have enough selfies with Al Qaeda or
Yeah,
ISIS or
exactly.
whoever. Um, so basically, I was bringing up the kind of the adversarial attitude they have towards America because um, something they're bringing in, and I think it's coming in the next few days.
Hmm.
You're probably going to hear about this. So there's a ton of American companies that have headquarters in Ireland, and
Hmm.
it's a huge, huge part of our economy. Like all the multinational American companies that do business here, it's like probably most of our economy. Like if you got rid of them, like that, that'd be it.
Yeah.
But we're um, our government, because of all the Islamic terror ties and things like that, we're going to be completely um, stopping all trade with Israel, right? So
Yeah.
the American companies, I'm pretty sure now. I read this. Now you might know this better than I do, but I don't think an American company is allowed to participate in a boycott against a U.S. ally. But
Yeah.
the problem is over here is that when that bill comes in like the next couple of days, by law, all those companies are going to have to pull out of Ireland, and we're done.
Oh wow. That's crazy.
And
They're
no one's talking about it.
so they flooded into your country. They killed the natives, forced the native people to pay for their housing and their lives. Then they took over your governments. Now they're destroying your entire industry.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a token invasion. I mean, You
It's
are
worse
at
than an
war.
invasion
You
because
guys are at war. I
yeah,
mean, I think the people don't realize they are at war. They have been hijacked by hostiles and they are at war. Now, I said while I was watching the feeds of what's happening in Belfast, with cars burning, people burning, some of the migrants' housing, government housing, I said, this is nice, but this is small. Like, things really need to be done properly to actually get everybody out of their country. And that's going to require overthrowing the government, probably. I mean, you have no other options.
yeah. I was there recently. I was up in Dublin. Do you remember there was fuel protests going on here about a month or two ago?
Yeah, I
Um,
followed some protests happening.
yeah, I was up the Dáil. That's like our Parliament building or our capital. You have the capital, right?
Hmm.
That's your or Congress. It's like Congress kind of, but
Okay.
for us. So I was up there and I said it to him like, there's no like this isn't like sustainable. Like you're not gonna last if you keep ignoring like the people because like it's like an immune response, right? You can
Yeah.
suppress it for so long, but eventually it's gonna kick all the germs out, you know?
If everybody's out of options and they realize it, the only thing left to do is do it themselves. Which
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but and it's crazy that we're talking right now about Ireland, but this is most Western nations. I mean, we've been, due to globalization and being flooded in by people that don't belong in our countries. A lot of people have been saying the Great Replacement, which, I mean, what else can it be?
That's what
But
it is. Yeah.
yeah, so it's I I've been saying this actually for a little while within my friend groups. I said, with what's happening in Europe, I think Ireland's going to be the first to say no because of the Irish reputation, of not dealing with shit, being, very empathetic towards people, but also not being messed with. So
Yeah.
I think it's great what's happening. I really hope it spreads and I hope it gets more intense. And I hope all Irishmen and women are safe during this whole period. But one thing I saw that was unique to what I've seen in the past are people were going door to door looking for foreigners, and that was beautiful because that's the
Yeah.
only way
Yeah.
to do it. There's no other way to do it.
They were stopping cars as well. They were yeah.
Beautiful. I love my Irish brothers over there.
We love you. We
Nice. Great people. So I mean, I think this is something the entire West can look to Ireland to, and that's why I think it's not just probably the Irish politicians looking at what's going on. It's all of Europe. It's all of the West. Um, and we're in the U.S. It's a little different because we have Trump. He's actively working to try to get rid of people, deport them. They're doing a lot of things to not just get rid of illegals, but also people that are legally here through fraud, and the fraud is rampant. So we also, our system here is there's a lot of roadblocks because for everybody wants to get rid of them, there's people that want to keep them.
liberal
We're
judges.
exactly there you go. Um, they're our system is very broken, especially our voting. By the way, thinking a U.S. election is not rigged or broken is just insane. They don't want voter ID. They want as many ballots that you could send in as possible, and it's just all open for fraud. And these are things that Elon Musk actually has been very open about as well. And
Yeah.
it's funny that you would think the guy who's putting rockets in outer space and building the future with electric cars to AI, you think you'd listen to somebody like that. He might know what he's talking about.
Yeah. he might he might have some idea, being the richest man in the world and being
Exactly.
involved in the government. Like you think he might have some idea, but then people just turn around and say, "No, no, he knows nothing. I know all because I'm some random on Twitter who's like,
Yeah.
Like these
It's
people,
it's
like
crazy.
they actually think they're smarter than Elon Musk, like
Yeah.
the
One
Tesla
interesting
guy, the rocket guy. Like,
yeah. One interesting thing I saw is so one our biggest kind of video platform out here is YouTube. I don't know if it is as well in the UK. I know some or Ireland or anywhere in Europe. I know different countries sometimes have their own different preference.
oh,
But
we have YouTube. It's
yeah.
like the biggest one here, probably. Yeah.
So about 70% of all the political channels getting all the views are conservative right wing. And you would think, wow, that's incredible because YouTube is owned by Google, which is more left wing. And it kind of makes you, when you actually look at the numbers of people that agree with people on the right, um, you wonder, like, why are these elections so close? Why is the left continuously winning in a lot of places? And it all falls down to fraud. It also looking at we in the past we did a lot of analysis on Democrat campaigns and Republican campaigns. What we found are that Democrats overwhelmingly use bots because they can't get real people engaged. So it's like there's a lot of voter fraud going on, but is this big loud base of people, do they even exist? Because right now through analytics and statistics, it's almost like they don't exist. It's all
Smoke
what
screen.
is it? Exactly complete smokescreen.
I yeah, I there's a guy I watch quite a bit. He's he does streams and all sorts of things, games and everything. But whenever he
Mm-hmm.
does one covering something that's going on in the White House, all the
Mm-hmm.
bots flood in.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they because he calls the stream like the same thing that the White House stream is called. So they
Oh,
think they're in
interesting.
the White House chat and they're like, "Fuck you, Trump," and all this. Like when like it's not even Trump streaming, and they don't know that because they're bots. Like they're not real people.
Oh yeah.
A lot of them as well. The uh, the account location feature on X has been like the funniest thing ever because they're just all
Oh
Indian
yeah. Oh yeah. It's we're under
and
we're
South
yeah.
Asia as well. That's Pakistan. That's where that
Yeah.
is.
We're under an Indian invasion. There are some areas in the country where we have more of, I would say, like a Muslim problem, but a lot of the big problems of the Indians we're having are they're in the so some context on the United States is we have usually had more like segregated, sectioned off areas where the poor people, which were overwhelmingly black, they lived in their own sections. White people would live in their own sections, and then
Can we
there'd be
bring
like,
that back?
yeah, seriously,
Yeah.
segregation now. I so basically, what happened is it's called white flight. I'm guessing it's mainly a U.S. term or term where it's more people flooding in. Because when I think of Europe, I mean, wasn't Ireland probably like 98% Irish people 20 years ago?
Probably more.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't even probably. I'm saying you wouldn't have heard what white flight is because you didn't have to deal with all these different kinds of people. In the U.S., we basically places were sectioned off. You know, you had Hispanic communities sometimes, um, black communities, white communities, and over time, the more expensive places to live and everything were overwhelming. They were always majority white, and a lot had to do with culture. To be honest with you, I mean,
Crime.
when you look at other groups of people, and I say this all the time, when you look at Jewish people when they came to the United States, it was almost 100 years after slavery ended in the U.S. for black people, and within a generation or two, the Jewish people put themselves through college. They did all these
They were
things.
at the
They joined
top. Yeah.
society. They were at
Yeah.
the top. So, and you still hear these complaints from the black community. Now, without getting too racial or into IQ or genetics or anything, um, they were sectioned off, kind of like to summarize. And what the Indians did, they came into our country through fraud went into white collar positions, which were historically white people's jobs and positions, the highest paying. And then they started, and then they started locking all of white people out and only hired other Indians and created a whole pipeline of Indian fraudulent credentials direct to India. And they were bringing them in and taking kickback money for every position they put another Indian in. So what they did is they hollowed out most of these great American companies in the U.S., our Fortune 500 companies. If you go to some of these places, it's like 90% Indian, and they refuse to hire whites or Americans.
Yeah.
So what happened because of this is you're seeing this white flight, which white flight is usually when a lot of minorities were moving into an area, white people would overwhelmingly start moving to a different area because
can't blame them.
Yeah, well, because of the violence and everything from black people. So black people, it really depends. There's a lot of different kinds of Hispanics, right? So it depends on Hispanics. But so I'll use black as the example because the black community has always overwhelmingly been violent. So, and makes property values go down. But the reason property values go down is because people don't want to deal with violence. They don't want to live somewhere that's not safe walking at night. They don't want to deal with gangs, gunshots going through their windows. So white people would always move to more expensive areas. And that was kind of the great wall. It was created financially. So white people could live, we're in this country which is supposedly free, right? As much as they can maybe get away with propaganda to say that. But people could police themselves through getting a good education, career, and then living safely by working hard, having a high IQ. And the Indians have changed that in the U.S. to where now a lot of these nice areas and everything, all the Indians have flooded into them, turned them into like third world shitholes. There's nowhere for the white people to go. So now there's white people going into their supermarket, it's 99% Indian. Not even 90%, 99% Indian. And like you said previously with, Muslims, like they want to kill Christians. These people are overwhelmingly Hindu. They worship demon gods. They pollute our waters. They ceremonially, they have ceremonies where they eat cow poop, cow dung, drink cow urine. They're overwhelmingly smell of body odor, have extremely bad hygiene, and they're very rude, and they are very entitled because there's from this whole caste system. So right now in the U.S., people are getting really riled up, especially about Indians, which is kind of, I guess, making the Muslims and Pakistanis almost take a back seat with our initial biggest problems. Whereas I know the UK, like the Muslim, the Pakis, the rape gangs, we don't have that here. But I could promise you in the US, if that happened in the US, I promise you, we're armed.
We're not, we need to be.
We all have guns here. And if that happens, I promise you. That's why I think a lot of Americans look at what's happened in the UK. And it's like, 250,000 women have been raped by these rape gangs and foreigners. Minimum is probably millions. So if it happened to just like a couple people out here, people would go door to door with their guns and just get rid of them, to be honest with you. Like, it's like we would take care of it immediately. So that's another thing where, in fact, one of the big reasons why one of the big sayings people have is we have to keep our guns because look at Europe. Look what happened to them. You know what I mean? So it's scary, but it's crazy.
Really is.
So let's get into Northern Ireland. How have you seen this escalate? When did you first kind of really, I guess you and friends of yours, people you're in contact with, start to really see that the invasion really started accelerating, getting out of hand? And when did people really start hearing just all the time about people being violently attacked by these foreigners that don't belong in the country?
I mean, there's weekly beheadings, it's It's crazy here. It was always kind of, you see, there were certain towns where um, so I'll give you a bit of background. Um,
Hmm.
Dublin, right, our capital city.
Yeah.
Um, a while ago, maybe I actually have no idea when it was, but the inner city was really like, it was decrepit, and it was all like it was basically destroyed. Like there was no like the buildings were falling apart. There was drugs, there was crime, there was all that. So they went about trying to kind of rebuild it or refurbish it or whatever.
Hmm.
So they built all these towns in the surrounding counties. Athy in Kildare, that's one town. And they sent all the people that were messing up Dublin to all these towns, right?
Hmm.
So then the people that were sent there, they settled there, they stayed there. So the inner city was kind of left free. So, well, first of all, the drugs spread then all over the country because all these
Yep.
towns were, they were all established, and
So all the towns took in all the city's problems.
all the inner cities specifically. So then
Yeah.
what happened, right? The inner city was empty then because those people had settled,
Yeah.
um, in the other towns. So in the inner city, there were a lot of vacant houses, and there were a
Hmm.
lot of there were a lot of jobs that needed doing, and they didn't want to spend the extra bit of money to hire someone Irish, so they just started bringing in foreigners to do these jobs that we supposedly wouldn't do, but we wanted to do them, but we
Oh
weren't
yeah,
allowed.
it's a lie. It's they use that as well in the U.S. They're
Yeah,
bringing in people to do jobs people want to do. It's not true. It's these big companies don't want to pay an honest wage to people to do the job the right way.
yeah. So that started happening. That was one thing, right?
Yeah.
One of many. There's a few things that kind of contributed to this. Now that one is the most charitable one towards the government, who I
Hmm.
don't like.
Yep.
But
I don't blame you.
that's the most like um, excusable reason, even though it's not excusable. It's
Hmm.
bullshit. But
Yeah.
um, another thing that happened, obviously, I told you we joined Europe in the
Yep.
70s. I think it was
Yep.
72. Um,
Hmm.
so when that happened, for a while, Europe was kind of like they existed the same as the UN to stop Russia. It was during the Cold War and all that.
Yep.
Um, so then Europe kind of outlived its usefulness, and the same with the UN. So then we kind of got into all this philanthropy business, going into other countries and building schools and wells, and then we said, well, they're just like us. Like, why don't we bring them here? So we were kind of fed this lie that they like there's no reason. Well, this is what they've told us.
Hmm.
There's no reason why they're not successful in their home countries. It's just like, I don't know, circumstances or something. Um,
Or something.
yeah, or something. It's nothing to do with how they govern themselves or how they act in their countries, or their um, what would you say, IQ.
Genetics. Yeah, IQ.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you bring people in to build houses when they don't have houses where they're from?
And then you try to get them to build like fiber optic cables. Like that's not going to
Oh
work.
yeah, yeah. And
Um,
all they did was take jobs away from Irish people.
yeah.
That's all they did.
And another thing too, instead of like, they don't even have to they don't even have to come in here and like ask for a house. We just like give it to them, a
That's
house.
crazy.
And I think they're building. So the county I'm in is Leash at the moment, right? That's where I live.
Hmm.
But I'm up and down around the country. all the time. It's quite small. You know, there's our biggest town probably has like 20,000 people.
Okay, okay.
Very
Yep.
small. So they're building. They just got approved. There's a new zone, and they just got approved to build 80,000 houses. Yesterday, I
Wow.
think.
So they're going to probably try to put foreigners in there, and you're going to be a minority overnight.
Yeah, I mean it's already happening every month. They're approving, like crazy amounts of houses like this, and they don't go to Irish people at all. They they build them so fast. You could be out of town for maybe a month or two. You come back in and there's new houses.
Who's behind? Is this the government that is allowing you to be replaced and invaded?
They're facilitating it.
And the government, you said, are terrorist apologists, and it all just seems to me like it's all being done to plan. It seems like they had a plan. They were going to flood into your country, take over your politics, your government, and then bring all their people in and just replace you. I mean, it just seems like that's what's happened, and that's an invasion. So
Yeah,
I just don't know how much people in Ireland or Europe can take before it's like you're at war.
we
Like, do
are.
you not know you're at war right now?
I think
You're
I'm the
at
only
war.
one. Yeah,
You are literally at war.
yeah,
They're just doing it in a sly way. They're doing it in a sly way in front of you, replacing you, taking over your country. This is warfare,
oh
and
yeah,
I think it's important that people take the streets. I mean, I don't want to say that they should do anything violent because I won't say that, right? But I'm pretty sure they can figure stuff out to take their country back. I mean, they are at war.
yeah.
And these are military age men flooding into the country as well. Not just military age men, but just even if they're a little older, they're still able-bodied to try to fight you guys. I mean, it's almost like they're just waiting for the right order to say, okay, we're 80% now of the population. Let's get rid of the other 20%.
Yeah, well, that
And
that is what they do in every country they take over.
yeah,
As soon as they hit majority, they, they take the rest by force or kill them
exactly.
or whatever else. It happened in the Middle East, like places like Lebanon. They used to be Christian countries, not anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
So do you think the people on the street, the Irishmen on the street, who are outraged about what's going on. And I mention all these other things because I'm not taking away from the victim and this exact happening. I think this was just another thing that happened to it's like enough is enough because this has been going on for a while. There's constant deaths. There's constant murders from these people.
every day nearly.
So what's it going to take for the Irishmen to? I mean, they're already going door to door, which is great, but I feel like it might be
Enough.
heightened. It might be heightened by the media as well. Maybe they did that to one building instead of the whole place. What is it going to take? Is it going to take a paramilitary group, or like a militia? Like, what's it going to take for the Irish people to save their country? Because they're at war right now. I mean, and whoever's probably in charge of Ireland's military is probably in with the government, and they would rather attack an Irishman than a foreigner, I would imagine. Just
Yeah.
looking at what the police are already doing.
Well, the president over here is the commander of the defense forces, and I told you about her.
Wow.
Um, but our army is over in Lebanon at the moment, defending terrorists who are. By the way, the terrorists tried to kill them a few times. They don't care. They're still over
Yeah.
there. You see, the reason why the UN sends Irish soldiers over to Lebanon is so if Israel bombs Lebanon, then they kill an Irish soldier, and then we're at war with them. So they can't do anything to Hezbollah. Um, Israel can't finish them off, if you get me, because we're sticking our nose in it.
It's almost like
Um,
a bait and switch too, because you are at war at home right now. You have a
yeah,
domestic
and all
war
our
going on.
soldiers are abroad. They're
I mean,
And the
it's going
ones
to
that
be
aren't abroad are doing like gay pride school events and all of
this is
that shit.
crazy, man.
Yeah,
I mean, this,
it's like what you would have imagined Kamala 2024 was going to be, but
yeah,
like
it's
every
crazy.
day here, you know. Another thing
What?
too, they were very annoyed in the government when you got rid of Maduro. That was a great thing because a lot of drugs that come in here, um, they come from Venezuela,
Yep.
and well, Venezuela was one, and then as well there was I was telling you, you know, there's the Islamic terrorists, but they're all kind of in league, if you get me, with the government. So
Yeah.
that was a major blow to our establishment here. So that was a very good thing you did.
That that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, where do you see this getting fixed? Like, what steps have to be taken? What do you think in the future? I think, I mean, personally, it has to involve all the Irish people coming together and taking their country back. Um, how could that happen when it seems like a lot of people are, like you said, like they're chemically castrated probably as LGBT weirdos, sexual deviants, and a lot of people just are letting this happen. I mean,
Do you want to hear something crazy?
what?
There's estrogen in our water here.
Oh my god, it's like it's all
Yeah.
being done to plan. Like, not to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, but I mean, they're doing things to feminize the men at home,
Yeah, I mean, look
and
at me. I'm not like macho, you know, but yeah,
no,
I'm a product of my time.
no,
You know.
you're young, man. You're young. You're young.
Yeah,
So,
well, hopefully I grow up a bit. We'll see.
no, but it's just shocking, and I mean, I wish I can't even say things because I want to air. You know, I'm going to air this. There's just things I can't say. You know what I mean?
Oh,
On camera.
I'm gonna say a lot of things after the show.
Yeah, but it's just it's shocking. I think the Irish people and Europeans and white people in general are being genocided, and I
Yeah.
don't see a future unless people stand up and realize we're at war and actually do something about it. There was a article put out about a year and a half ago about the next 5 years. There's like 5 countries identified as potential civil war, and they're like really high risk for civil war. And I think it listed. It slips my mind, but I think there were a couple of European countries. Even the U.S. was listed as one because of what's being done to us.
Yeah.
And where do you think the, I guess, I don't want to call them riots. I think people are sticking up for themselves. In fact, let me see. I actually said it's an uprising, right? What's going on? Uprising because the government is not working for the people. They're literally getting people killed and having their country taken over and invaded. So I think it's a legitimate uprising. And I see these people as patriots, by the way,
They
because
are.
that's what they are. That's what they are. So, do you think it's going to escalate from here? Do you think it's going to get more organized? Do you think there's a path to get these people out of your country and to save Ireland?
Well, I will say, first of all, I'm going to tell you something really scary, right?
Yep.
So you know all the stories you hear about, you know, in Britain, all the speech laws that they're trying to put in and all that, and you know all the different, you know, race-based laws. Like
Yeah.
that's been in Ireland for a long time. You just haven't
Wow.
heard about it because we almost invited it in a couple of decades ago. We've had all that for years. That's why
Wow.
you're not hearing much. Whenever something happens, you're not hearing much about it.
Yeah.
Um, we've been living under that for decades now. Really since the 70s, but it ramped up recently a lot. Um,
Yeah.
so that's why you're not hearing a lot, and why it seems like we're disorganized. Because that's what that's the image they want to put out. There's a lot of organization going on, and there's a lot of people kind of getting ready. I won't say much more, but
Yeah.
um,
Man.
the government's days are numbered, and same thing with the EU.
Yeah.
You know, like we won't be able to take back anything with Brussels still standing. That like
Exactly.
Brussels needs to burn.
Yeah,
There's no other
100%.
way out of it.
They need to totally destroy the EU. And in fact, I remember a few years ago during Brexit when they were saying, "Hey, we're not ruling our own country, right? It's being ruled from Brussels, from people that are unelected officials." I guess it's not any better though because the elected officials are assholes too, right? But yeah, and the EU I know has been pushing in flooding of Europe as well, from these countries, these third world countries. And I see that people, if they don't want to take people in, they have to pay a ton of money. Um, and these are just things I've read through the wire, right?
It's extortion.
So, yeah, 100%. So I think the only path forward for Ireland is to, I don't want to say civil war because you're fighting invaders. Is it a civil war if it's just Irish people fighting for Ireland? I don't think that's a
Well,
civil war. I think it's cleansing the domestic or taking part in the domestic war you're already forced into.
it is a civil war because there's a lot of like the NGO classic is huge in Ireland. There's so many NGOs. There's thousands.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people work for them, and then there's a lot of people that were kind of fooled by them as well, because NGOs, by the way, they write our textbooks over here,
Yeah. Wow.
for school. So there's a lot of brainwashed people. So it would be a civil war.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Now it's getting more and more in our favor, but there's still a long way to go
Yeah.
before we have a majority of people who want
I think
change.
I think it's only going to accelerate. To be honest with you, too. I mean, I think there's your side of people sick of it who want to do something about it grows every day, while the other side is losing those people. So
Oh yeah.
it is a matter of time, I think, before there is a majority.
The first time I saw them really scared was, you might remember this, you might not. In 2023, there were a lot of protests in Dublin because this I think he might have been Algerian. He was a Muslim anyway. He went into you call it kindergarten over there, but we call it play school over here.
Okay.
Um, he went into one of those and just started stabbing kids.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so that there was a lot of protests then. International media covered it a bit, so you probably heard of it at the time. It's a while ago now, so you might
Hmm.
remember it. But that was the first time that I saw like the government like really like scared. Like they were, you could tell in the way they were reporting the news and everything. Like they were terrified, and they
Because
brought the hammer
they
down
know
on
it's
everyone.
they know it's a
Um,
ticking time bomb that they allowed to happen, and they
they're
continue to
still
allow to
sentencing
happen.
people from those protests, by the way. Still, they're still sentencing people. They're like they're tracking them down from videos and everything.
That's
Um,
insane.
yeah, so we kind of said we're not making that mistake twice. So the protests, there's been a kind of a rule, not to bring your phones, and if anyone is recording, like journalists or anything, make sure there are no faces, no identifying information, nothing.
Yeah.
They can't, so they can't get us.
Are you gonna be okay just if your face is out there, like with this whole interview?
Well, yeah, I mean they know who I am already. They have for some time now,
Yeah.
so I'm not really afraid of them anyway, because like it's either I hide my face and they find me anyway with all the digital ID stuff, or I show
Oh
my
wow.
face and we just get it over with.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Because they can find you either way.
Yeah.
It's not like
Um
America where you have to actually have a process of figuring out who someone is. Like they could just find out here.
they'll look at your cell phone records, they'll trace everything back. They already have everything, I'm sure.
Yeah, and they have permission to do all of that. It's not like America where you have to do a subpoena and things like that. That's a great system, by the way. I like that. We don't have
Yeah.
that here. They just
I I complain a lot, and we Americans complain a lot about our system and how things happen, or the processes, because we want it to be much even more strict in the favor of the people, right? And just hearing about this happening in other countries, like developed first world countries
allegedly.
are, like, well, not for long, with all the third worlders there, but it's just shocking to hear this, the state of things, and I'm surprised people haven't revolted like you said, like 20 years ago.
We're
It's
not armed.
shocking. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say this. I mean, there's ways around it.
The foreigners are armed, by the way. They all have guns.
Just say you're a Sikh and have a dagger, right? Have your
It
ceremonial
works
dagger.
apparently, but
Yeah,
I might need to do a bit of blackface for
I
that
know.
to work,
Seriously, it's
or
true.
brown face, whatever it is.
Yeah, just stop showering and start eating curry. You'll get away with whatever you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Um,
I'll just start doing that.
I'm sorry you're in this predicament. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
I
thank
mean,
you.
it's unfortunate for all Irish people. It's unfortunate for all Europeans, and just globally, it's unfortunate for all white people. And it
Yeah.
is really hard to wake people up. And people are being woken up every day, but it's one thing to wake people up to what's happening, and another to convince them they're at war. It's an active war zone right now. So it's very crazy. A lot of it, I think, it's all been planned, and we have to, not stop fighting. And me, all Americans, everybody, we just send our love to Ireland and to Europe and just other Western nations, and other white countries that are being invaded and destroyed right now in real time, while people you would think would be on our side are just some are just leftists, or just allowing it to happen because their ideologies are skewed and messed up enough to turn a blind eye to their own people's annihilation and genocide of their own people. So I don't know.
There's a term, a conquered people.
Yeah,
What it means basically is like you can demoralize a people for so long over such a long amount of time that they'll give you their freedoms in exchange
yeah.
for security and
Oh yeah,
leisure and all
exactly.
of that. That's what Europe is now. Like
Yeah.
we allowed all the speech laws, the digital ID stuff, all of that, you know, um, just so we could live like slightly
Yeah.
easier lives. And by the way, it
There,
didn't even make things easier. But
there's a saying in the U.S. If you're willing to give up your freedom for security, you deserve neither.
but I bring this up because there was there was a girl that was I think it was in the UK. I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm fairly sure it was over there anyway. Um, but his daughter got murdered, and there was footage of the funeral that was posted online. And now he's what I would describe as a conquered man. All right,
Okay.
like his his like instead of eulogizing his daughter, he was just saying like, don't be mean to the foreigners. I love the foreigners. Their food tastes so good and all this. Like after they murdered his daughter, he just cared about how good the food tastes.
Oh
And he
my
was like,
God.
yeah, but this isn't a reflection on all foreigners. He said at his daughter's funeral. Like,
There. So what just happened with Austin Metcalf being murdered by this black guy? Um, Austin Metcalf's father was being very apologetic, and
Yeah.
it was the most horrific, disgusting thing I've ever seen. When your own son's murdered and you're basically apologizing for it, it's disgusting and emasculated. You know what I mean? They've been neutered, castrated. We can't deal with weak men in our society, because when you have a society of weak men, you are conquered. You are the conquered man. And I'm just glad people like you are out there in Ireland, trying to fight back in any ways you can, and trying to save your country and people. Because a country, borders, language, culture, it's the people. You know what I mean? If you take all of Pakistan and plop them in Ireland, it's Pakistan now. It's no longer Ireland. So it's sad. It's
I said
unfortunate.
this to someone in government last week. I said, because they kind of believe in the passport Irish. Like, if you have an Irish passport, that means you're from here.
Oh, we call them paper citizens.
Yeah. But and oh, he just called them the new Irish.
Oh my God,
But
that's disgusting.
I know, and like, with no relation to Ireland whatsoever. So, like,
Yeah,
I said to him, like, Ireland isn't just like a piece of land like floating in the ether. It's not an idea either. Like,
yeah,
it's an actual ethnicity
yeah. It
of
is.
people
It's in place.
with markers, like genetic markers that
Yeah,
you can tell.
yeah,
It's not just like some nebulous idea or a piece of land that has no identity. Like, that, there's
yeah,
actual people here. You
yeah,
can't just, they're not interchangeable widgets. You can't just
yeah,
swap them out.
yeah,
And they're going to realize that very soon, because usually, it's like what happened in Iran in, I think it was 79, when the revolution happened. The Islamists used all the communists to get into power, and then they killed all the communists when they got in.
yeah,
Like, these politicians in Ireland, they think that if they give these people power, they're not going to turn around and kill them,
yeah.
even though
I mean, they're
they'll be the first.
so they're already seeing remnants of the future with all these Irishmen getting murdered in their streets,
Yeah.
weekly. I mean, this is the beginning of the flood. You know what I mean? Of more violence, more murders, until they just try to wipe you guys out in one swoop. So, yeah, you guys need to replace your government. You need to take back your country. And I mean, I'm surprised. To be honest, I'm surprised Trump isn't being more proactive with actually trying to help Europe. You know what I mean? These
Yeah.
white countries that are now flooded with third worlders that are killing them and
You
raping
see, our
their
media
women.
is quite like relentless in attacking him. So I think he might think that we don't want him here, but we do. Like, we
Yeah,
badly need him here, and Vance
yeah,
too. Vance has been good on the Europe free speech stuff.
yeah.
So hopefully they step in here and Maduro us.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was saying previously, I'm like, if Europe isn't going to fight to save their countries, I'm like, after we take over the U.S. and take it back, we have to help Europe.
Help your
If
neighbors,
they're,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. I mean,
We need it.
heritage Americans are of the bloodlines of all Europe. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Oh
who
yeah.
we are. So it's we still all feel connections, deep connections to countries across Europe, because this is where we came from. You know what I mean? So it's it's really sad to see, but I think it's a good note tonight seeing the in Northern Ireland, Belfast, things. People are starting to fight back in ways which they can right now. Do you have a message for Irish Americans and people in the U.S., people outside of Ireland, on anything we could do to help, or any messages about what you've seen going on in the U.S. and warnings you have?
I'd say, well, what happened during the Civil War over here was, there were a lot of Irish Americans that helped us. They sent arms over and all that. So I'm not saying to send arms over, but call your congressman and tell him to you know at least make a statement about what's going on, because
Yeah.
we it's not that we don't want to be saved, we do, but a lot of us are very kind of we're very loyal to Europe, a lot of us.
Okay.
So it's very hard to help ourselves when half of the country, they don't want help. They welcome the invasion.
Yeah.
They don't want anything to disrupt their security. So
I understand.
if yeah, so anyone watching, um, yeah, talk to whoever you know in government, get them
Mm.
to talk to whoever they know, and then it might go up the chain, hopefully,
Yeah.
because we need all the help we can get. We're not armed like you are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We can't defend ourselves the way you can
Yeah.
against a government that doesn't have our best interests at heart.
Mm.
As well, another thing, we're starting to organize a lot behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
and there are people in place for after this government, after they're all out of office. There are people
Yeah.
in place ready to step in.
Excellent.
Um, so you know you don't have to worry about any issues about sorting out our government or talking to them or anything like that. There are people ready to step in once we're allowed to, um,
Properly
be free
govern
again.
yourselves. Yeah. Properly govern yourselves, not be invaded, and have Ireland for the Irish.
Yeah, once we're allowed to do that again, there's people willing to step in. Um,
Nice.
I can't really speak on who, but there are a few people, like we have finance ministers ready.
Yep.
We have a lot of disaffected teachers that that when they saw the recent curriculum with all the pride stuff, they said, we're out. So they're all ready to step in for the board
Mm-hmm.
of education. There's people
Yeah.
ready to step in foreign policy that are actually loyal to Ireland and not to the
Yeah.
Islamic State or any of those places, China. We have people and they're ready.
Yeah.
We just need a bit of a push, I think.
I I guess my other just final question is, a lot of Americans would hear about what was happening in Northern Ireland and other places in Ireland with like the Protestants versus the Catholics. What's the state of that right now? Like, is there one side that seems to be more supportive of the invaders, or is it more like people are coming together from both sides to support Ireland as a whole?
It's been amazing over the last day. There's been, like, you have to understand, like, this feud has been going on for like 1,000 years,
Yeah.
in Ireland anyway. But um, basically, well, the Protestants, I don't think they were around 1,000 years ago, but it was
I
going on with
understand.
the
It's
English who
going on for a
then
long
became
time.
Protestants, and they come in here. But it's amazing, right? There's people whose family members, friends were killed by both the British Army and the IRA, and they're all side by side protesting
Yeah.
against the government. Like that is unheard of. We were blowing each other up a few decades ago, in the 80s and
Yeah.
90s, and like it's unheard of.
Yeah. It
It
needs
just
to.
it just
I
goes
mean,
to
it
show
needs to
how big of
happen.
a common enemy we have.
I find like they wouldn't be able to fight amongst themselves because neither of them would exist because the enemy is so great and trying to genocide all Irishmen. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's crazy. So
really is.
I guess that's one positive thing that we could note coming out of it is bringing people that weren't historically allies together.
It's about
Because
time.
yeah, so that's a very big positive. Whether you're Irish or whether you're Catholic or Protestant, you know, coming together for Ireland, that's a big deal. And I mean,
Huge.
what's a bigger gap between the Catholics and Protestants than an Islamic, you know,
Yeah,
person?
I mean
So
they're quite different.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Awesome. So thank you so much for talking to me. I'd love to talk to you in the future as well. I'd love to have you on again.
yeah, I love that.
Let's
I'll shoot you a message after this.
perfect. Let's stay in touch and thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Thanks.
See you.